I think the most important change for a group of IT professionals is understanding how we are learning to make this usage more productive. So we are, as we engage the global economy and we convert it from a physical economy to a digital economy, we have to learn how to translate the physical actions to efficient digital commerce transactions, and how to take a given transaction and make it more efficient, more productive. Now, I'm going to talk about this in more detail, but it basically means that there's a tremendous emphasis in analytics, data mining, user profiling, understanding what people are doing, how we can improve that experience, how we can make it more efficient. That investment and that technology evolution will filter down throughout the IT industry, again, whether it's enterprise software or consumer products and technology, really whatever we do. So let's talk about a few things that are hot. I think the most important point I would make, especially to a group of people, I am one, who I think our average age in this room is much too old to be considered the youth demographic of today. The key services and applications that people are interested in today are being defined by people who are somewhere between 14 and 25 years old. Because this is the generation that is growing up knowing not only that email is universally a service, but that instant messaging, universal messaging is ubiquitous. It is always available. It is expected. And that there are a lot of new services such as social networking, community services. As we begin to blend human behavior with our information systems. If you look back on the internet for the past 15 years, we were not changing human behavior. We were simply taking one function, such as mail, and turning it into a technical function. Now we have a generation of humans that is beginning to drive changes in the technology to match their social behavior. That's extremely exciting, and this dynamic is going to be the investment dynamic of the future. So this is really a key point, because this is where the value is. It's where the momentum and the interest in the marketplace is. I already talked about data mining and analytics, but the point I want to make here is that the companies that are learning to perfect this on a global scale are going to own the future. This is where the value creation will occur. So in the past, companies that were very strong in oil exploration, for example, very skillful in analyzing vast amounts of exploration data to find oil, had a huge core competency that was incredibly valuable. Now we have companies that are learning how to do this on a global basis over huge data sets. And they're mining these data sets for pieces of information, very similar to the way Wall Street has learned how to develop small amounts of data over huge data sets. But when you take a small amount of value and apply it to a global scale, the amount of value that is created is massive. So this core competency is going to be a fundamental and critical core competency going forward. Any IT presentation that didn't talk about mobile would be incomplete. But I think I wanted to just make one brief observation here. If we look at the broadband PC connected world, that world is dominated by two forms of value creation: electronic commerce, online commerce, and advertising. We both know them fairly well, I think. And both of them are huge, growing, and being perfected. However, in the mobile ecosystem, there is not a single dominant form of value creation. Of the $19 billion that was spent in 2005 in the mobile ecosystem, it was split between user experiences, things like ringtones, data services such as access to the internet, search, some advertising. So there's a whole raft of opportunities. There are many different opportunities for creation of services, creation of value. In other words, it's a very young ecosystem. It has not matured, it has not stabilized, and there are many, many opportunities to get in, create value, learn about the users, learn what's important to them, and do this and deploy this on a global scale. So this is a very, very active and a very, very rich opportunity in many different areas going forward. You can't really say that about the broadband PC ecosystem, which is about 10 years older, much more mature, huge and growing, but it's also captive to a few large companies at this point. I wanted to talk about adaptation, just as this is more a thought. Most of us have grown up in a world where we sat in front of computers, we took in information, and we used that information. Clearly, now, we have a world where we have multiple types of devices, televisions, PCs, lots of different mobile devices, perhaps devices in the life sciences and so forth. Adapting information is going to be a key technical skill going forward. And doing this dynamically and doing it in real time is going to be a key piece of intellectual property. Security. I'm not going to talk much about this because I know it will be covered, but security in a fully connected world is going to be a growth area ad infinitum. We cannot see the boundaries to growth here. But the definition of what is interesting and what is hot in security will be a constantly moving target here. Storage. 10 years ago, when I was at Cisco, we used to, as a marketing line, we used to say, voice will be free. Well, voice pretty much is free now. Storage will be free because the incremental cost of storage is dropping so fast that cost will be paid for by some advertising or by some user, some other part of the commercial ecosystem. So when storage becomes free, and we have vast amounts of storage on your phone, on your iPod, in your body, in the air, what will happen to information? So how we organize and access information in a free storage world is going to be a very, very interesting area to watch going forward. Fragmentation. I think that for IT professionals, this is probably the most important thought. It's clear that the advantages of scale, of internet scale, are massive because the cost per transaction, we're driving it into the ground, and we're learning how to monitor the cost of an individual search or an individual transaction when you do billions of them. So the efficiencies you create when you have billions of transactions is fantastic. On the other hand, we need to provide services that are for increasingly fragmented audience, a national audience, a community of people with a certain area of interest. So making the right trade-offs, the balancing between a platform that delivers communities of interest or to a fragmented audience is going to be probably what distinguishes the winners from the losers going forward. Because we have to be efficient, but we have to provide the fragmented experience. Well, what is not? Well, certainly one of the areas that's in my background, networking, is not hot right now. It's basically a commoditizing marketplace due to mature technology and the influence of the Chinese and some other countries. The offline world, whether it's advertising or media, is quickly moving online, and as it moves online, that's creating challenges for the old business models and as people move to new business models and to online presentation here. So the point about online fragmentation, I think, the offline world was basically a monolithic world. The online world is not simply moving it online, it's moving it to an online fragmented model.